Hi, I'm John.
And I'm Ripley.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where we ask if you believe in magic.
Well, do we?
Not particularly.
Oh no, we don't believe in magic. Oh no. Whatever will she do?
Have a crisis in self-confidence, I'm sure.
That's bad, isn't it?
Probably.
But is it bad for her, or is it bad for everyone around her?
Unclear.
Because so far, we don't know what her deal is, but I'm staring at something that might help explain it.
Yep, except first, what's been up with you? It's been snowing like a bitch.
Yeah, it sure has.
It's been a crazy winter for everybody except for here. Every snowfall that's been driving everyone else in the country crazy has gone south of us.
Until now.
Until now.
It's bad. It's bad, folks. I barely got out. I barely got off. I was barely able to get off my little road. Never mind get my car out.
But you made it here.
I did do that. My car is covered in snow.
And now we're watching The Wolverine.
Is it The Wolverine? With a the?
Yes.
This is one of the things that annoys you the most about Marvel Comics. Sometimes there's a the, sometimes there's not. And for some godforsaken reason, at least in their app, it matters.
Well, no, I mean, the movie is called The Wolverine.
I know, but I can never keep track of which ones have a the and which ones don't have a the, and it's...
Oh, no, I know. You know what used to drive me nuts? The Amazing Spider-Man versus Amazing Spider-Man, and Volume 1 versus Volume 2 are titled different things in the app.
That is so bad. That is so dumb. Why? Why?
It used to drive me absolutely batty.
Look, drop the the. Those aren't good titles.
I have one addition. You know what drives me crazy? Marvel Unlimited categorizes things that begin with the as beginning with T.
No. No.
Yes, they do. That's what. Hence why we're going on about
this. Which makes it really
this.
annoying to look for Thor.
Oh no! I didn't know it could get worse.
Yeah, so you gotta scroll past all the thes.
It got worse. Marvel, why? Why is it pirates and amateur organizers do a better job with this than you do?
We don't do pirates. What are you talking about?
No, I never said we did pirates, but I'm telling you, pirates are better at this. Gabe Newell said that piracy is a service problem. So if there are pirates out there, Marvel is responsible for them.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel didn't have NFL Super Pro. We had to go find those issues of NFL Super Pro.
Yeah, we had to find it off the back of a truck. Yeah, it's a supply issue. Marvel, if you just had NFL Super Pro.
No, I mean, we found the physical issues, scanned them, and then put them up.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly how it happened.
Which is something we have the rights to do.
Correct.
Well, they're not gonna.
No, we didn't upload them. I mean, never mind, just never mind.
Cut that whole segment. Fuck.
We'll cut it in post. Note to self, cut this in post.
Note to self, cut it in post if it hasn't been cut in post already.
Well, despite what you've heard, Candace isn't actually really going to be recording with us, though you may hear...
Candace lurking in the background.
Yeah, small interjections from time to time.
I'm the peanut gallery.
Yep, that's the peanut gallery from...
I thought I was the peanut gallery.
Nope, you're the co-host. So, John, do you want to tell me what happened last time with the X-Men?
There was a shotgun wedding, and Magma almost killed everyone with fire, and then got suicidal about it.
Well, there was a little more that happened with the shotgun wedding.
Okay, Kitty finally had her comeuppance with lying to what's-his-face and... Caliban and what's-her-face decided to take advantage of this and be a bitch about it and make everyone miserable. and while manipulating them.
By what's her face, you mean Callisto?
Yes, I could not remember their names for the life of me.
Doesn't help that they're Caliban and Callisto. That's
It
kinda
really
close.
doesn't.
The Cals.
It makes sense why they are.
It's like a buddy cop sitcom. The Cals.
But Callisto did a whole thing. We're wrapping up a Piotr is Rockman.
Yep, we solved that problem.
Yes, we did. And
How did we solve that? It was kind of neat.
Morlocks. Morlocks did it. Well, Rogue did it, and then a Morlock healer did it. But that's all because Kitty became a Morlock for like 5 seconds. And the Morlocks take care of their own.
Yep.
Which is why they help, because she was a Morlock for 5 seconds. Because Shotgun Wedding, which 3 times the not charm. They really did try 3 times.
Yep. For what to happen?
To make Caliban and...
No, I understand, but what ultimately happened with that?
Caliban realized Kitty would be miserable and said, well, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's meant to be. To which Kitty roughly replied, it's not meant to be. It's really not. But she did look truly miserable as she said, well, maybe I'll find my happy ending here.
Yeah, but she does want to stay friends with Caliban.
She does, but that's it. No marriage.
Yeah, no marriage is in the cards.
In fact, I don't actually think either of them wanted to get married.
No, I don't think that was the case at all. I think that was all Callisto being a bitch.
She was just being a bitch. A truly massively spectacular bitch.
Alright, well what happened next in New Mutants?
Kitty hacked the government. She did federal crimes with her not boyfriend, who we finally met.
Yep, what's his name?
Well, it's not Peter, so it doesn't matter.
Doug Ramsey.
Oh yeah, I noticed something. Shaw was wearing a regular suit.
Yeah, he does that when he's out dealing with the government.
He's still got his,
ponytail.
He's still got his ponytail in its little, traditional ponytail holder, but he's wearing a regular suit. It's so silly. But yeah, they hacked the government, I'm kind of shocked that the Sentinel... I realized something. You have a mutant in a room full of other humans, and you activate a Sentinel. There was every chance that Sentinel would have done that anyway. On activation.
I mean, he probably made sure there was some backdoor programming that accepted him, you know?
Maybe, but Shaw-based Sentinels are shit, so... There's every reason to believe that it would have just started attacking, and then they just chalk it up to, well, it's a Shaw Sentinel, it's trash. But this whole thing is an aside because Kitty's late and missed training and runs back home, runs into Magma, who had her own thing happen, getting adjusted to living at Xavier House.
She got doused in soda because
Cannonball is a show-off who isn't actually good at doing loops.
He is not.
But Magma wanted to be alone. Kitty, not the greatest at boundaries. That's kind of her thing. Being not great at boundaries.
It's literally her power.
Yes, it's literally her power. Unfortunately, Aquila took offense to that. What is her full name? I cannot for the life of me remember.
Oh,
Amara.
Juliana something.
God, it's some Roman bullshit. Fucking Romans in the Amazon. But Kitty ends up having a turf battle with the mutants. Gets sent to the principal's office. Talks to Chuck, leaves, and then, it's all about Amara?
The rest of the issue is largely about Amara.
Yeah, and she sees Chuck talk to his a space girlfriend.
Well, first she was having issues with Charles and...
Oh yeah, he's been violating her privacy just like he does with everyone else all of the time. Even though he says, size like us take great pains to care about privacy. As I duplicate by pulling it out of your brain. That's privacy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But she ends up seeing he's got his own thing happening, and he's not a perfect person, and...
He's not a perfect person.
That's a song?
Yes.
Okay. Magma, who gets named in this issue, decides to stay after all, after witnessing what Chuck went through.
Yep, he was talking with Lalandra.
Yeah, his space girlfriend. Oh, and throughout these issues, Chuck was getting brain blasted from space.
Correct. He's been getting brain blasted from space all the way from back in the issues with Mystique.
But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's nothing going on with that.
Oh, God. I just remembered that he used to be one of those alien things, and then they took his mind out and put it in a clone body.
The Brood, you mean?
Yeah, he was a Brood, but he was fine, and they took his mind out and put it in a clone body. I don't know if these two are related, but...
Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Yes.
Well, you might remember we closed off with the question, do you believe in magic?
As a general rule, depends on the spelling.
With a K.
Yes.
Now, we're not going to get to New Mutants 14 this week, but we are going to get a dose of magic with Magic number 1 from August of 1983, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Tom Palmer, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski with a cover by John Buscema and Tom Palmer. We find Ilyana Rasputina on the day of her 14th birthday in a rather pensive mood, staring out over a cliff I didn't know existed behind the Xavier School.
Huh.
Ah, the cliffs of New York.
The cliffs of New York. Well, now mind you, this is
There's
upstate.
also a fucking lake.
But, are you sure this is New York and not, like, Pennsylvania?
Yes, it's New York. It's in Westchester County.
Which I need to see some Google map views from there, because I want to see how cliffless that is.
We know, roughly where it is. It's around Salem Center, New York, or North Salem. I forget. One of them doesn't exist.
Of course. Of course one of them doesn't exist.
She pulls out her locket, staring at it, wondering whether she'll be humanity's savior or its damnation.
Well, that's ominous.
From there, we're cast into flashback to the X-Men's desperate flight from Limbo. As the demon hordes charge in, the X-Men all step into the teleport circle, awaiting their trip back to Earth. Young Ilyana cradled in her brother's arms, the old storm spells holding the demons at bay.
Ooh.
All except perhaps the most important of the bunch, Belasco, who successfully evades her spells, snatching the youngster from her brother's arms. Kitty Pryde does her best to hold on, but with a cry, the youngest X-Men uses her grip on Rasputina, and the Demon Lord scampers away with the little girl, much to the distress of the older Aurora.
We saw part of this.
Yes.
From the X-Men's perspective.
Yes.
But now we're leaving...
Correct. We're seeing what's happened on the other side.
Yeah, how the heck she lost a decade.
Exactly. More like 7 years, but yeah.
It's long enough for...
you to make a rounding error.
Yeah, and also, Peter's got some stuff to explain to his parents still.
Yeah. Well, this is all much to the distress of the older Aurora, who has determined that if she can't rescue Ilyana, she's just going to have to kill her.
What?
By the time she catches up with Belly, he's got the girl laid down on an altar, confident that soon not only will he have Ilyana, but Storm too will return to his side.
Oh dear.
Belasco delights on how innocent young Ilyana is, as he renders the little one unconscious. Even purer than this Storm's kitty once was. All the better to extend the reach of his masters, the Elder Gods, to the entire universe, my sweet.
I don't like this.
But Storm cannot allow this to happen. She casts a spell at Belasco to try and stop him, but it's like the buzzing of a gnat to the Demon Lord, who just turns his attention back to Ilyana. With a wave of his hand, her spirit rises out of her body. Though the girl remains unafraid, still convinced that Belasco is her friend.
Oh no.
To this piece of her soul, a transformation begins. First, she starts to grow older in spirit, though her physical body remains unchanged. Her face then starts to twist, with fanged teeth and red eyes, something he states he'd done to Aurora in the past.
Ugh.
And then, that done, he takes that piece of soul and transforms it into a small ball of energy.
Why?
He's created a bloodstone.
Ah.
The first of 5, meant to bind the girl to Belasco and his masters for all eternity.
That's fun. That's fun. Yeah, fun. Yikes.
And with that, he places it within Ilyana's locket, explaining that once she has all 5, the dimensional walls will be broken down, beckoning forth the march of the Elder Gods upon the universe.
Delightful.
The Demon Lord then zaps Storm, ready to take her out of the picture. Of course, having hit her, he gloats that he doesn't have to kill her. Rather, he could just let nature run its course.
Sure, that's an option, I guess.
That's when a throwing star whizzes by, narrowly missing the Demon Lord's face. His attacker, a grown kitty, now going by Cat, snarls that while he doesn't age, he can be killed.
Ooh, good luck with that.
To defend himself, he brings more blasts to bear, but Cat just deflects them with her sword before advancing on Belasco.
Okay, so she has a sword. She's like a ninja now.
Yes. Where she picked that up?
Yeah,
God
no.
only knows.
Yeah. I don't think anyone here is teaching ninja skills.
Self-taught ninja.
I didn't know you could be a self-taught ninja.
Well, ninjas had to learn it from somewhere.
Yeah, but not like that. Not in a hell dimension.
She slashes at the Demon Lord, but at the last moment he teleports away, much to Cat's frustration. This isn't exactly the first time something like this has happened.
Fun.
Aurora, meanwhile, checks on the still sleeping child before pulling out some teleportation of her own, transporting them all to her sanctum,
Okay.
where she tucks the little girl into the bed.
Sure. Did we see that place before?
Yeah, I think that's where Aurora, younger Aurora, ended up.
Okay.
Cat has mixed feelings about Ilyana, blaming her for everything that happened to her and her friends. Of course, in their timeline, Ilyana got away, so that resentment might be a bit heightened.
Oof.
One small problem with the whole tucking the little one into bed thing. She wasn't actually sleeping, just pretending.
Of course.
So after placing Kitty's voice, she gets out of bed, creeping to the doorway to listen to the doomed X-Men speak, blissfully unaware that Storm is onto her little game.
Okay, so wheels within wheels then, sure.
Not that it really matters, because she doesn't do anything about it.
Rip.
Maybe that's just because before she gets the chance, she's winded by a spell of weakness, exhausted from her fight with Belasco. Even weak as she is, though, she cannot yet stop her exertions. She has to break Belasco's link with Ilyana.
Cat, why do you have an outfit that shows that much side?
ran out of fabric.
Ah, okay. Sure.
She has to break Belasco's link with Ilyana before it has the chance to solidify any further. Kat suggests alternative means of dealing with the girl.
Oh no.
Since she's so dangerous at all. And Aurora doesn't dismiss it out of hand, but since she doesn't want to, she'd much prefer this. Then the women turn back for the bedroom, where little Rasputina scrambles back under the covers. She explains that Belasco's medallion gives him power over her, and she needs to break the spell first before she can send her back.
Uh-huh.
Just the thought of returning home delights the child, and she happily asks if Aurora and Kitty will be coming along. A question that gets to Kat. She roars out, "No!" Ilyana doesn't know what she did wrong, and apologizes to Kitty, but Kat snaps back that Kitty is dead, and to forget her.
Jesus!
But Aurora confirms that indeed they will not be making the return trip with her, before casting her spell upon the youngster. The sorceress casts her astral form into the girl's mind, following a mystic path to the junction with the medallion. Already, though, she finds Ilyana's being transformed, a twisted hellscape dominated by a craggy castle, and guarding it, a grown Ilyana atop a menacing-looking steed.
That's a fun thing to find in a little girl's astral self? Question mark?
I'm sure it's fine.
Sure! Yes, this is fine, actually!
She's talking shit about how this is just a preview for the main attraction of what she's going to be once the Bloodstones are filled.
Fun!
It is Aurora who makes the first move, casting a magic bolt at the feet of Ilyana's steed.
Why? Why not go for the kill?
She doesn't want to. She's worried about killing Ilyana, probably.
I guess, but...
Anyway, this causes the horse to buck her, but that's not going to be enough to defeat the woman. Instead, Ilyana summons forth a whip, cracking it forth across the space between them, and wrapping it around Roro's neck.
Delightful.
The barbed whip seems to have a life of its own, and Storm fears not only for her life here, but in real life as well. Because if you die in the dream, you die in real life.
Of course you do. Though, this isn't a dream exactly, so I could kind of buy it, actually.
Yeah. She's not completely defenseless, though, and with the simple spell, she transforms the whip to flowers, sparing herself.
Oh no! These roses! My hay fever! It's deadly!
I cast Benadryl.
Oh no! I'm going to sleep.
Fuck. She spared herself for now, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
She's unable to resist Ilyana's next move, summoning forth a posse of demons from the ground.
Is that what those are? I guess she does say so.
They hold her in place, allowing Ilyana to approach and gloat a bit, though she doesn't actually kill Aurora, seeing them as kindred spirits, both forever transformed by Belasco.
Ooh.
And with a touch of the hand, she reveals Storm's true horned form. But Aurora denies her, summoning forth a gust to blow the evil one back.
How do you... Sure, I guess wind in a dream... mutant powers?
Sure, why not? It's followed by a bolt of lightning. Ilyana claims that Storm wouldn't kill her, out of fear for the youngster's life, but gets a "bitch try me" in response, before the mutant disappears in a flash of lightning.
Well, that didn't really work quite right.
When she comes to, she's lying on the ground, cradled in a smug cat's arms. She barely got away with her life, only escaping by the grace of her mutant powers. Powers her body is too weak to wield anymore in the real world.
Oof.
But she decides, since it's been a very long time since anyone's been naked, that it's time for a swim.
Hey, but she's old. Let's let an old be naked.
It's revolutionary.
Yes.
And hence she dives into the water to cleanse herself of the bad vibes still clinging to her. As she swims, she and Kat discuss the next steps for the little one. Belasco's whole plan is for Ilyana to be sent back so he can use her to escape Limbo. And she can't fix what's been done, but she might be able to help Rasputina learn to fight it, proposing she take her on as her apprentice.
Huh.
To say Kat doesn't like this plan is putting it mildly.
Uh-huh.
She thinks Aurora will just be making the girl easier to corrupt. Instead, just throwing a knife when Roro asks what Kat proposed they do next.
Subtle.
Aurora wrenches the knife free from a nearby tree, falling back on the old chestnut of what will be the difference between us and Belasco if we do this. But Kat won't hear it. Frankly, she thinks that by once being his apprentice, Storm's already walked down his path far enough that she'd be willing to take his place. An accusation that stings the once X-Man, but now no more. She expresses her hurt to her kitten, a nickname that only goads Kat into tearing off her mask, revealing the transformation forced upon her by Belasco. Teeth lengthened to fangs and eyes slitted cat-like.
She's even got kind of a cat nose.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, this is something straight out of frickin' Cats or some shit.
The cursed one?
Yes. The cursed one. Why does being cat make you a ninja? Like, they didn't give you swords. What the hell?
No, that tracks.
All cats are ninjas?
Yes, except for Frankie.
What is Frankie?
Clumsy.
A bad ninja, then.
Frankie flunked out of ninja school.
Oh no! Frankie had such a good career lined up.
A promising future.
A promising future, yes.
Then she got the brain boil disease.
At birth.
She proclaims herself no kitten, but cat now, in looks as well as name. She then scrambles up a nearby tree and off along a wall, off to lick her own asshole and chatter at some birds.
She's moving pretty cat-like. Might as well.
But not before threatening to kill both Aurora and Ilyana if that's what it takes.
Delightful.
Once Ilyana awakens, Aurora takes her for a tour around her garden, where the little girl recounts a bad dream she had where she was a bad, bad girl.
Hey, does that mean you have control over your dream self? If it's not really a dream?
Much to consider. Aurora is well aware.
Yeah.
They stop at the base of a big old oak. The first thing Aurora planted with her magics when she established her oasis here. She explains that she has to teach her some things that Kat doesn't want her to know. To save her. An idea that intimidates the girl a bit. But at the thought of learning how to plant things like that tree, she perks right up again.
Ooh.
Though Aurora looks troubled. For her first lesson, the sorceress instructs Ilyana to sit down and meditate. And then the world goes funny, turning to silver flames, sweeping over the garden as far as the eye can see.
I must not be very good at meditating. This has never happened when I've meditated.
I don't think you're very good at meditating, then.
You mean this is just what happens when you meditate? The world goes all silvery and weird?
Yeah, honestly. You gotta open your third eye.
They're not opening their third eyes.
After a moment, she feels a tug at her being, and her spirit rises up from her body. Her and Storm's astral selves, now able to wander the garden at will. For the next part of their lesson, Storm explains the glow given off by all things here in the garden. It represents their life force. But something is wrong with one of the plants. Its blossoms turned black.
Ew.
Infected by the inherent evil of Limbo.
I guess Limbo is just inherently evil. That's fun.
But Aurora can set them right. With a simple spell, she restores the blooms to their natural color. But something that should have been a simple task left her winded. But for Ilyana, the display was inspiring. She wants to learn to do that. She wants to garden. All this and more.
Oh no.
And Aurora snaps at her, snatching her arm and insisting that she never even consider such a thing, lest she destroy everyone. The little girl is hurt by Aurora's reflexive actions, and she cries out in pain, causing her mistress to apologize. But Ilyana doesn't fully get it, contrasting her behavior to how nice Belasco was to her.
How old is Ilyana at this point?
Like 7?
So, old enough to maybe not trust all strangers when they offer candy.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends on how sheltered she's been.
I don't know. I can't... I'm not really a good judge of that. I don't know what 1980 Soviet Russia was like.
Living on a collective farm.
Far away from large-scale cities and shit.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no context for what that would have been like. But also, neither does Chris.
I assume he would assume as innocent can be.
He probably would assume that, but there's no reason to think that that's true, any more than there's a reason to think it's not true.
I would assume that's probably his context, though.
Yeah, he's probably thinking American farms, and everyone there is more innocent than people in the city.
It's enough to make Aurora soften a bit, and she bends down to Ilyana's level, explaining that Belasco masks his evil behind a kind facade, and that using magic to satisfy your whims like that isn't good shit. That you must respect nature rather than try to command it. The young girl still doesn't fully understand, so Aurora directs her focus inward, and suddenly she's able to spot a dark crystal buried within her chest.
A dark crystal?
Yes.
That's where we drop the music, a musical sting.
I have never watched that.
I was hoping you would understand the reference better. Damn it. The references have failed me.
Sorry, bro. I know what movie you're referencing, but I don't know what you're referencing within it.
I barely remember it. It's been a while.
It bothers Ilyana immensely, but there's nothing to be done about it. Then, with a shock, Ilyana notices the same sort of crystal, but larger, within her mentor's body.
Ooh.
That's when Aurora calls a close to their lesson, and Ilyana sits up against the tree, confused to find herself larger than when she went in.
What?
Storm explains that it's been a year since she began her lesson.
What?
Time passes funny in Limbo.
Okay.
But okay, back to that crystal, because Ilyana's not just going to drop it that easily.
Well, yeah.
Fine. Roro gives a very cursory explanation, elaborating that it was the price she paid to learn all of this magic. That frightens Rasputina a bit, worried that this will happen to her. But Aurora reassures her that it's exactly this they're working to prevent. The pair then wander off to scrounge up some grub.
A year later.
Unaware that behind them, the plant Aurora had tried to save is shriveling and dying.
Dun, dun, dun.
The magic spell didn't take.
Rip that plant.
That night, as Ilyana and Aurora rest, Roro sits bolt upright in bed, sensing someone in her garden. Through her magics, she's able to identify the intruder as Cat, and exits to investigate, only to catch a bolo round the neck.
Ooh.
Knocking her down into the pool below her balcony.
Fucking rip.
Cat doesn't leave her to drown, though, dragging her unconscious friend from the water before creeping into Ilyana's room and waking the girl. She then explains that she's going to take her home, though she can't promise the way will be safe.
Uh-huh.
Ilyana wants to know about Aurora's opinion, and Kat doesn't really mince words, explaining that she'll keep her as her apprentice, potentially forever, and the longer she stays, the more the evil within her will grow. The little girl doesn't want that, so she takes Kat's hand, and the girls run, unaware that they're playing directly into Belasco's plans for world domination.
Of course, this is somehow part of his evil, nefarious plot.
Everything is proceeding according to Keikaku.
Translator's note, Keikaku means plan.
How'd you like that?
Kind of weak. I mean, it's not bad. It's very busy, and it almost feels obligatory. Like, this is a story that needs to be told for this character to make any sense in the future. But it's not what I signed up for with the X-Men, if that makes sense.
I think that Magik is Chris's weakest aspect.
Because this does not feel like anything I signed up for in the X-Men. So, giving it a 3 would be generous, to be perfectly honest. And to rate anything Chris has written lower than that is just brutal, but I'm kind of leaning towards lower than 3. 2.5, maybe?
You could always go 2.75.
I don't know, but
I think I'd say a 3. It is weak.
it's not terrible. It's not dumb, but I don't know. The flashback narration doesn't help any, if that makes sense.
You think it robs it of some of the urgency?
For one thing, yeah. We know she gets out of there.
I think that's a fair criticism.
Now, it's possible that the story isn't over once she gets out of there? Because, I mean, the thing only... Ooh, there were, 2 filled? Was it 2? Or was it 3?
3, I think.
Oh, no. We know she's got, 3 of these things filled. One of them is her own soul, somehow?
Or at least a portion of it.
Yeah, it's all very unclear what's happening a lot of the time. I think I'm going to give it a 2.5.
I think I'm going to stay to 3. I don't think anything's particularly stand out here. It's nice to find out what the hell happened to
You're not
Kitty.
wrong, but this doesn't feel fun like even some of the New Mutants can be in kind of a dumb way. Because, yeah, the New Mutants can be very dumb, but it's still got fun to be had, even if it's dumb fun. And this isn't really dumb, but this isn't really fun either. This is very serious, but it's very serious about something that could be fun.
It's kind of grim.
Yeah, and I'm not loving the grim with this tone.
I also didn't really adore the art in it either.
It's different. It's not terrible, but
I don't necessarily think it suited the grim tone.
I don't think you're wrong about that. Yeah.
I think it's very house style.
Which is unfortunate. What did CMRO think?
What do you think CMRO thought?
3?
3.36.
Liked it more than either of us. Wow. The hell is going on in that background?
Have you never seen a bunch of demons watching a sword fight? Like, hello?
No, I haven't seen a bunch of demons watch a sword fight.
Get with the program, bro. Last up is Magik number 2 from October of 1983, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Tom Palmer, colored by Glynis Wein, and lettered by Tom Wojciechowski with a cover by Ron Frenz and Tom Palmer.
Got Kurt out of a Sword and Sandals movie.
It's kind of how he looked before, though, too.
Yeah, he must be loving that. I always wanted to be in pictures.
On their trip, Kat and Ilyana don't stand unopposed, set upon by a demon in a set of caverns. Kat draws her sword, ordering Ilyana to stay put while she deals with it. That's more easily said than done.
Oh no.
With a swat of a massive hand, the demon catches Kat off guard, sending her flying before setting its sights on Ilyana.
Rip.
The little girl first tries to run, before Kat orders her to stop, and whatever she does, stay out of the teleport circles that dot the floor.
Why do we even have those?
They came with the property.
Remove them! What, do you need zoning permission to get rid of what are they, traditional features of the landscape, so they're protected by national ruling? Look, the president is dismantling all of that. It'll be fine. No one's gonna care.
I like the implication that Trump is also the president of Limbo.
You know, Limbo, in the 80s. He was alive.
Or are we just saying that Reagan also was doing that to Limbo?
Well, to be fair, Reagan was into deregulation. So, yes, he is president of Limbo.
Alright, cool.
It could be worse. Hey, we could be dealing with Thatcher. Would you like her to make the water in Limbo deregulated as well? She'll do it. She did it to Great Britain.
Her defender then turns back to the demon, flinging throwing stars its way to regain its attention.
Throwing stars that are... Did she grab one off her arm, or did she just move her arm in a swinging motion and it just flew off?
It looks like she grabbed it off her arm.
Because it would be funnier if she did the second thing.
It would be funnier, but it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, but a lot of things here don't make a whole lot of sense.
Like the fact that she's a ninja.
Or that they're fighting demons.
No, I think that they're fighting demons makes a ton of sense. This is Belasco's realm.
Is that Belasco's demon?
Sure.
So what? He's on Belasco's payroll, or he just happens to be living in teleport circle land, or what is the inner life of this demon even like anyway? Does he have one? Do demons have lives?
Maybe we'll discover more in the future. This is not the end of Limbo for us.
Oh boy.
Limbo will return in Avengers Infinity War.
Oh no. That's a threat.
The strategy is a successful one, and once the demon angrily turns back towards her, she drives her blade deep into its flesh, killing it. However, a new monster has arrived to take its place, creeping up right behind Ilyana.
Delightful.
Kat barely has time to snap off a warning before the demon makes a grab for her, snagging a fistful of dress. But Ilyana flings herself backwards. The dress tears and she's free. But more importantly, she inadvertently lands in one of the teleport circles on the ground.
Well, I guess those are Schrodinger's teleport circles. Don't put a teleport circle on the table if you're not going to use it.
That's not Schrodinger's, that's...
Chekhov's.
Yes.
I said Schrodinger's, damn it.
The teleport circle both exists and doesn't exist until it is used.
Well, we know it exists.
And she lands in one of the teleport circles on the ground, reappearing somewhere in the dark. After a moment, another teleport circle appears, but it's not that lights up her destination. It's a match lit by Sim, illuminating the dead body of her older brother, pinned to the wall.
Delightful.
She tries to scream, but the sound won't come, left to helplessly wish she had the power to make him pay, as Sim gloats over how he killed Piotr because he wouldn't stay out of the way of Belasco's plans for her.
Oh boy, I guess that means Metal Piotr can die, huh?
Sure, I mean, he's gotten close before.
That's true.
She makes a dash for one of the teleport circles, but Sim grabs her by the hair, picking her up and threatening to dismember her if she doesn't shut up.
So, this guy has an inner life. He's got a cigar. He waxes nostalgically. He has...
a fashion sense.
He does have a fashion sense. He has... He's got thoughts. He has wants. We're probably not going to find out more about him. He's probably about to die in the next page. But my question of, do demons care? Do they think, well, here he sits?
You think Sim's gonna die?
Yeah, probably.
Alright. You want to put money on that?
No. You're the house. Never bet against the house. You know if he's gonna die. I'm not putting money on it.
Sim grabs her by the hair, picking her up and threatening to dismember her if she doesn't shut up. After all, Belasco can put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Ooh.
Suddenly he screams and drops her, the result of a sword through the tail. It's Cat to the rescue again.
That's one way to deal with a demon.
The demon makes a grab for her, but with her phasing powers, his hand passes harmlessly through, leaving him to threaten to eat her heart. That is, if he can catch her. Cat breezes right by and grabs Ilyana's wrist, phasing the pair of them through the wall to a whole separate area of limbo.
Oh wow, we're totally seeing Sim again, aren't we?
We are absolutely seeing Sim again. And she's threatening in her wake to eat Sim herself.
Tasty.
This new land is barren as far as the eye can see, meant to look like the Savage Land after Belasco once tried to conquer it.
Why?
Now destroyed in revenge for his failure. Unclear. I think this may have actually happened in Marvel Comics, and I don't know why. But I'm not 100%, not like 100
So
on
wait, is Belasco like a reoccurring thing in Marvel?
Not clear on that. Not 100. Let me look.
Because that would make a lot more sense about why we are almost expected to have known all about Belasco. Because, like, it feels like from the moment we started name-dropping Belasco...
Yeah, Belasco first showed up in Khazar the Savage.
Ah, so he was already a thing, and because we don't need to reintroduce anything at all ever, just roll with it. Chris must have liked him.
It's meant to look like the Savage Land after Belasco tried to conquer it, now destroyed in revenge for his failure.
Odd choice, but sure.
As they descend from the sky, Cat spots dinner, a large two-headed saber-toothed tiger, munching on a meal of its own.
Huh.
Unceremoniously, she drops Ilyana, before leaping into battle, her sword at the ready. Ilyana fears for her friend's life, but Cat is strong and capable.
Clearly.
And stabs her sword into one of the necks, claiming victory over the big cat.
Does just one kill it? I'm a little unclear on how two-headed saber-toothed tigers work.
It would appear to be so.
Okay.
Ilyana is frightened of Cat.
That's fair.
Once human, now something else.
Yeah.
For when Ilyana cooks her tiger steak, Cat takes hers raw.
Oh boy, yum.
Cat then explains, after expressing her distrust of sorcerers, that in the morning she'll begin her training, while remaining mum on what on. And so the little girl drifts off to sleep under the harsh sky.
This feels a little more ominous than when Aurora was watching over her.
Perhaps a bit. She awakens on her own, but it is not a gentle morning. Cat throws a leotard Ilyana's way.
A leotard made of cat pelt.
Yup.
That's a choice.
Well, she worked with what she had.
Yeah, I guess she did.
And she directs her to change into it, before explaining that breakfast isn't coming. They've got a lot of ground to cover, setting their sights on distant mountains, and the only way they're going to get there is by running.
Fun.
Cat is hard on the girl when she doubles over in exhaustion, carelessly quipping that she'll just have to leave her behind.
Oof.
And leave her to Limbo's monsters at that. It's enough motivation to get Ilyana up and moving again, though it's not the only time the exhausted girl stops, tripping and falling as her tiredness grows. Slowly her fear of Cat turns to hate, which if Yoda is to be listened to, turns to suffering, but we haven't reached that step apparently.
But also, Jedi philosophy is bullshit.
True.
But Chris probably believes it, so...
To be fair, Jedi philosophy is not clear at this point.
That's true, but I think Yoda's already done his whole spiel about anger turns to hate.
No, that didn't happen until the prequels.
No? I thought he did that in Empire. I do not remember those movies as well as I thought I did. I haven't watched them, and I'm realizing I don't remember them well. I haven't seen the original trilogy in over a decade. So, I think George was fairly consistent about this, his belief about the Jedi philosophy.
Yeah. But we haven't reached that step entirely. It's at this point that Cat throws her a sword, taunting her to do something about it, and calling her Snowflake in the process. Ilyana does not like the cruel Cat busting out her beloved brother's nickname for her.
Ooh.
And tells her as much, but Kitty keeps pressing, lunging at her with a knife, now demanding Ilyana defend herself.
Or die!
Cat gets in a pretty good slice to Ilyana's cheek, and no longer does the little girl futz about. She makes a wild swing of her own with the sword, not really coming close, and in the face of getting herself disarmed, but nonetheless it seems to please Cat, who ceases her attacks on the child.
Okay, fun.
It was a lesson, albeit a tough one, meant to show her how to survive out here. Aurora, showing up in her astral form, sure the hell doesn't like it.
You don't say.
Begging Cat to return to her sanctum with the girl, but Cat won't hear it. She instead hurls her knife at Aurora,
Yeah, she's not here.
who points out the utility of her actions, whereas she could still kill her right now if she pleased. The rapid passage of time continues in Limbo, and by the time they reach the mountains, Ilyana has grown in height as well as skill.
Oh boy.
Now when they fight, she gets the knife instead of the sword, and sometimes, like today, she wins.
Ooh.
Carving a furrow across Cat's cheek and earning praise from her mentor.
Oh boy.
Now that they've made it to the mountains, their next move is to climb up to Belasco's citadel. And so they do, eventually phasing through the walls to within.
That's one way to do it, I guess.
On entering, Ilyana feels an unnerving sense of belonging wash over her, despite knowing the evil that permeates this place. That is, until Nightcrawler, ever Belasco's faithful guardian, makes himself known, leaping onto Cat's back to knock her to the ground.
Oh boy.
Ilyana briefly thinks of the Kurt she knows, but only for a moment before her training kicks in and she throws her knife in the teleporter's direction.
Well, he is a teleporter.
Yep, emphasis on teleporter.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler bamfs away from her blade, reappearing behind her and quickly wrapping his tail around her neck, using the girl as a projectile to knock Cat back to the floor once more, while he retrieves some swords so he can challenge Cat to a sword fight.
Huh, I guess he's still a person. Kind of. He wasn't really talking before.
Yeah, he was.
Guess I didn't catch it.
He was just being kind of a creep.
He made himself look naked before.
He was in a loincloth.
Yeah, but he found a way to sit in a way that you couldn't see it.
Okay, that's a weird thing to remember.
Well, go back and look! It's there!
Cat's not game, though, turning herself intangible and sinking into the floor, leaving Ilyana to defend herself.
Fucking rip.
She doesn't miss a beat, lunging in with her knife to challenge the X-Man herself, impressing him, if perhaps fruitlessly, as she teleports away from each strike. That is, until Illyana calls him out for being afraid to fight a little girl. At which point he quits fooling around and stands his ground, unaware that behind him, Cat is rising out of the paving stones of the floor.
Okay, this is a pretty neat impromptu plan.
Then she makes her move. Lunging for his ankle, she pulls his leg into the ground and releases it, causing flesh and floor to merge forever.
Ow.
Not that he'll be around to feel that pain much longer.
No.
For moments later, Cat's blade pierces through his chest from behind, and he collapses to the ground, dead. It breaks Illyana's heart, but there's no time to dawdle. They have to get gone so Cat can send Illyana home.
Which is definitely what's going to happen.
Definitely. The pair exit the room to Belasco's altar, the place in Limbo where the dimensional barriers are the weakest. There, Cat explains, her phasing power should allow them to slip not only between atoms, but to pierce the veil between dimensions.
That's safe. I'm sure that's fine. Nothing bad could happen here.
No. She's just always been afraid to try this on her own. Afraid to find either a world without X-Men, or one with them where she'd have to face her failures and her pain. But now she has a reason to. And so she grabs Illyana's hand and the pair begin their travels. They soar through a psychedelic realm of twisting ribbons of light and beautiful music, the destination of Eldritch Isle now within sight, along with the X-Men. Illyana can feel Kitty's hand close around her free one, but when the girls are pulled free, they're face to face instead with Belasco.
Well, that's a neat trick.
Something some small part of Illyana had been hoping for.
Oh boy.
He, along with his posse of demons, and especially Sim, gloat over the girls, before turning his attention to Nightcrawler, lying dead on the ground. He needs a new servant, and Cat will have to do.
Oh boy.
That's an over-my-dead-body kind of proposition, and Cat charges in, sword in hand, ready to end the Demon Lord. Again.
We've been hearing a lot about how the sword won't do much.
Unfazed, he orders her to stop, freezing her in her tracks. Orders her to surrender her sword, and with growing horror, the woman does this as well. Belasco then rectifies what he claims was his mistake, leaving Cat too human, allowing her free will. But with a touch of his cruel hand, she is transformed into a furry, free of that pesky agency. She nuzzles up to his hand, receiving scritches on the head before Illyana's eyes, torn between fear and fascination. Belasco then calls Illyana forth, offering her a dagger, which she drags down the flesh of her arm.
Yikes!
The blood drips down her arm, and she opens her locket, allowing it to fill yet another of the 5 slots of the bloodstones. All the while, Cat feeds on the flesh of the deceased Nightcrawler's body.
Fucking what?
But that's not all. This is just the beginning of Illyana's tutelage at Belasco's hand. Yet another strange mentor in this twisted land. All of this plays out before Aurora's watching eyes, viewing the events through a crystal ball, at least until she hurls it against the wall, shattering it in her fury. For now, she swears, the only way forth is to destroy both Illyana and Cat.
Okay.
How'd you like that?
It's a little better, but what the fuck? What the fuck, though?
Hedgy.
Yeah, I guess this is... So, these X-Men don't matter.
These ones are from a different timeline.
I know. But that means that what happens to them kind of doesn't matter because he's got a safe X-Men group that he doesn't want to break as badly.
Right.
So Chris is bad ending them all.
Yeah, like they hinted at in the book, Ilyana saw all her friends die.
Mm-hmm. That she's actually dealing with this whole, my brother's kind of not in a good state. I'm actually okay with this.
Yeah.
In fact, it's Kitty who's probably worse off.
No, Kurt, you mean.
Sure, you're right, because Kurt was the one looking at Ilyana, and Ilyana was looking at him, and...
Yeah.
Kurt, for some reason, has medical skills, despite being a carny. Right, I'm sorry, acrobat. Because that definitely gives him more medical skills. But still, I know that this Ororo will not destroy Ilyana.
Yeah.
I know that. But whatever is going to happen will not be that. And that's kind of unfortunate. Because I feel like there was a way to have done this without slipping into a side book. I'm guessing Marvel editorial wouldn't have allowed that, but...
I feel like that would be difficult to do without slipping into a side book.
Can't focus on a single character who isn't mainly an X-Men in an X-Men book. Even if...
For 4 issues?
Yeah.
That's a lot to ask.
I know, but I think it would have been more interesting. Especially since we have X-Men in it.
I'm not buying what you're selling.
I know, but I think it would have been more interesting if we didn't know that she gets out. She isn't destroyed.
I get what your problem is with the flashback framing, but...
as you've said, this is one of the weaker things.
Yes.
So who the hell made Magik interesting in the future? Did Chris do it? Did somebody else get a hand on that ball? And, because so far, this is not the Magik I've encountered recently. I know I have to wait and see. I am aware I have to wait and see. But I have no idea how long I have to wait. Because consider this. Wolverine is basically the Wolverine who's always been Wolverine. Scott isn't quite as radical, but you can see where he gets it. But Magik? The character who hasn't even gotten her name yet?
Well, we'll be getting more Magik very soon.
I'm sure we will.
Well, as you saw, the next issue of New Mutants is hinting at Magik.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually she'll be joining that team.
Oh boy.
And Chris stays on New Mutants for quite a while.
Oh yeah?
So,
How long?
yes.
Decade?
Quite a while, I believe.
Well into the 90s, something like that?
No, I wouldn't say that long. I'd have to look.
That's fine. You don't need to. Just ballpark, if you can.
Chris Claremont is on New Mutants through issue 81.
When?
1989.
Okay. So, until almost the end of the decade.
No, it looks like earlier than that. Louise Simonson takes over. And
Okay.
he just puts in issues from time to time.
Ah, that makes sense.
Because I didn't think that sounded right.
That's fair. You would know this better than I would.
Through around 54, which is 1987.
Okay. Really keeps going at that New Mutants thing for a while, huh?
Yep.
It's weird, though. Magik, the modern character iteration of her, is one of the most interesting mutants I've run into. I don't know how you get there from here.
Have to wait and see.
I know, but I don't know how long I'll have to wait to really see the formative goo that makes a character who they will be.
I'll have to wait and see at what point you get interested in her.
Because, you know what I mean, though. Someone else gets a hand on a character and they completely turn them around, and that's suddenly the definitive version forever.
Yeah. Liana goes through a lot of changes.
I'll bet.
So She's never been one of the characters I glommed onto.
It's just her whole, at least in the modern era, everyone else is going through the worst thing they've ever gone through. And for her, it's a 7 out of 10 on the pain scale. Look, they were dealing with Phoenix stuff. Everyone that got Phoenixed. Fucking the Submariner over there being like, no, actually, I can't deal with this. This was too much even for me. And Magik's like, 7 out of 10. It sucked, don't get me wrong, but it's only a 7 out of 10. I've had worse. The Phoenix is not my worst day. Namor is like, I still can't deal with it. Everything I'm doing is a front. I'm lying to you about how okay I am. It was great. Love that. And I want to know when she gets to be that level of jaded. Because, like, there's the Ileana who is better off than Kurt is about seeing her brother in statue state, who may or may not be dead because he can't find a heartbeat and they can't find brain thoughts.
Brain thoughts?
Yeah, that did not really sound that good. But she's okay. Versus, I carried the Phoenix Force, and losing it is only a 7 out of 10 on bad. Like I realized, this is Hulk-like levels of power creep. But for her, it's her jadedness creep. Because, as far as hell dimensions go, this one's not so bad. You could live here. You have really terrible neighbors, but you could live here.
Aurora has lived here.
Yes.
Aurora and Cat.
Yeah, but Aurora's almost thrived here.
Got herself a garden, some prime real estate.
Exactly. And none of those pesky teleport portals that are zoned badly.
Gotta go back.
I think I'm just gonna... 2.75.
I'm at a 3 still. I'm definitely not rating it higher, but I'm not rating it lower. I thought it was better, but not enough better to rate it higher. What do you think CMRO thought?
3.5.
3.55.
Ooh. When I get a read on them, I really get a read on them.
Yeah, I think it helps that you knew what they thought about the last one.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's going to be it for us this week. If you don't already know, put your bets down below if you think Sim dies in the very near future.
Oh, God, I don't know. He feels not long for this, well, I say this world. This is not really a world. But he doesn't feel long for that dimension.
Well, he has also hinted that Belasco can put people back together again, so he may put Sim back together again as well.
Delightful.
Just saying.
The complete Sim reading order.
The complete Sim reading order or the complete Sim reading order?
Yes.
Anyway, put your comments down in the comments.
Where they go. They go in the comments section.
True. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell button to be notified when we put out an episode. Because YouTube's not always the best at letting you know otherwise.
Oh my no.
If you want to find us on social media, we are on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook.
Technically Blue Sky.
If you'd like to throw us a couple bucks, we are over on Coffee, Comicsplaining. If you'd like to send us an email, we are comicsplaining@gmail.com. And beyond that, we look forward to talking to you next time. Bye!